What Bible story would qualify as a Florida man story? Disoriented Florida man found on the beach claims to have spent the last 3 days in the stomach of a large fish. The sheer number of empty rum bottles nearby leads me to believe 3 things. 1. He was probably drunk as fuck and there was no giant fish. 2. He's a dick for not sharing any with me. 3. He's the reason all the rum is gone. Florida man caught with bag containing 200 foreskins of men from his neighboring community. Reports indicate this is the same individual who killed local heavyweight celebrity by flinging a pebble at his head several years ago as a teen. Florida men try to build a tower to the heavens, but abandons project due to poor communication skills. Florida man gets swallowed by big fish while fishing. Florida man goes on roid rage and kills 100s with the jawbone of an ass. Gets stripped of his manhood by Florida stripper. If there's any figure in the Bible who embodies the essence of Florida man, it's Samson. Florida man claims superhuman strength until Florida woman cuts off his mullet. Florida women fight over baby until Florida man threatens to cut it in half. Can I get the legs? I'll take the legs. Let her have the top part. Edit. All you llamas wearing hats, people need Jesus. Or John Mulaney, whoever's more convenient. Florida man spends entire night in lion enclosure, emerges the next day unharmed. Florida man thrown into lion enclosure befriends lion, claims supernatural involvement. Florida man trades entire inheritance to his brother in exchange for some baked beans. Edit. Like pretty much everything Jacob and Esau did in Genesis as 100% Florida men. Florida man dresses up as goat to prank blind father. You won't believe what happens next. Florida man marries 2 wives and so does his brother. Florida man wrestles social worker in parking lot before gang feud. Florida man, whose wife went missing, claims she turned into something that looked like bath salts. Florida man builds giant boat in backyard because the voice told him to. Next up, local zoo is baffled. Police investigation stalled due to inclement weather. Florida man impales couple after seeing them engage in extramarital coupling. Phineas the priest. Florida man paints door with sheep's blood. Said it was to protect his firstborn son. 3 days later drags his family through a river running from the cops. Not heard from again for 40 years. Florida man cuts his girlfriend into pieces after she is raped to death, mails them to every town in Florida. Edit. Judges chapters 19 to 21. Florida man shoves girlfriend out of Airbnb. Waits until she is raped to death, and then cuts her body into pieces and mails it to every town in Florida. FTFY. Florida man kills pro fighter with a rock. Florida man offers up daughters to horny mob. Oh lot. Florida governor sends soldier to his death to make the widow his mistress. That's King David for you. Florida man, sold into slavery by his brothers, returns to prank his family. Edit. Expanded storyline. Florida man with fancy coat, sold into slavery by his brothers, manages to become Lieutenant Gov of California, pranks family when they come asking for food assistance. Florida man kills his brother in a field, says he was jealous of what the Lord gave him. Florida governor tells Florida man to bring him the foreskins of 100 Californians in exchange for his daughter's hand in marriage. Left-handed Florida man stabs overweight politician with sword. The sword disappears into the politician's body, never to be seen again. Let's not forget that the only reason the guards didn't stop him before being ordered out of the room was because they already patted him down, but only for if he would wield the blade with his right hand. They didn't touch his inner right thigh at all. Samson is a Florida man story. Florida man gets in an unarmed fight with a lion. Florida man wins. Florida man murders 20 Californians so he can use their clothes to pay up on a lost bet. Florida man forces Florida daughter to marry another Florida man despite being already married to another Florida man. Original Florida husband rounds up wild animals and burns down all nearby crops by attaching lit torches to their tails and letting them loose. Florida man steals city gate and leaves it on a nearby hill. Florida man goes on killing rampage armed only with a donkey jawbone. Florida woman ties up Florida man, cuts his hair, and hires hitmen to take him out. Florida man removes load-bearing pillar of a building during a party, killing himself and all other partygoers. Local religious guy gets made fun of by a gang of youths for his lack of hair. He calls bears gators on them and kills them all. When it comes to the mass murder of innocent children, people always want to understand the killer's motive. Unfortunately, in this case, Jacksonville police say it appears that Florida man was overly sensitive about his male pattern baldness and initiated the wild animal attack as an act of revenge. Florida man with superpowers uses them to make alcohol. Florida man claims superpowers, tells others to follow in his footsteps. Millions drown. Florida man tries to kill daughter-in-law for getting pregnant during sex work. Plot twist. He is the father of her child. Tamar and Judah. Genesis chapter 38. Florida woman becomes sex worker for a day to screw her fill. Gets pregnant. Blackmails him. Tamar and Judah. Genesis chapter 38. Florida man duped on his wedding night. Marries fiancé's sister. Jacob and Leah. Genesis chapter 29. Florida man gains his father-in-law's stamp of approval by delivering 200 bloody foreskins. David and Saul. 1 Samuel chapter 18. Florida man who once faked schizophrenia to escape rival gang and swindled his own church becomes anointed one. David and Achish. 1 Samuel chapter 21. Obese Florida man stabbed to death. Weapon lost in fatty folds. Bonus. Murderer escapes because victim's attendants think he's using the bathroom. Egan and Ehud. Judges chapter 3. Florida man gets hair stuck in tree. Killed by dad's second in command. Absalom and Joab. 2 Samuel chapter 18. Florida woman hammers tent stake through sleeping man's head. Yael and Sisera. Judges chapters 4-5. Florida man begs half-sister to cook him chicken nuggets. Rapes her. Tamar and Ammon. 2 Samuel chapter 13. This Tamar is a different lady than the fake prostitute Phil screwing Tamar in Genesis. Florida man drugs and murders half-brother as revenge for incestual rape. Ammon and Absalom. 2 Samuel chapter 13. Florida governor's scheme to cover up sex scandal fails when local war hero refuses to sleep with his own wife. Governor turns to murder. David, Bathsheba, and Uriah. 2 Samuel chapter 11. Honestly, 99% of David's actions are Florida man titles: killing giants, taking foreskins, screwing women, hiding out in caves, lying to priests, burning towns over insults, trashy family drama, etc. Naked man steals apple from local orchard. Blames naked wife, who in turn blames a talking snake. Well, when you say it like that, it just sounds like meth. A better question would be, what Bible story wouldn't qualify as a Florida man story? Florida child spends 3 days arguing with lawyers, just doesn't have the same ring to it. Florida woman touches attempted murderer's feet with fresh-cut foreskin. Honored, the assailant backs off. What? Pregnant Florida woman claims she's a virgin. Insists that the father is God. There is no what if, I am pregnant. And it is Jesus. Most of them. TBH Florida man moves to wilderness, wears camel skin, eats bugs, preaches against establishment, ends up with head on silver platter. John the Baptist. Florida man murders son, says, God told me to. Florida man attempts to murder his son, but accidentally kills a goat instead. Florida man mandates to kill every child under 2 in his town. Claims that with that he will make sure God's child won't usurp his throne. I don't remember Herod's story that well. Sorry if there are any mistakes. Florida man threatens to cut baby in half over custody battle. Florida men throw brother into ditch to steal his pride parade coat. Florida man claims devil responsible for drowned herd of pigs. Florida man drops acid and talks to bush. I mean, considering that the bush that was engulfed in flames was actually an acacia which contain high levels of 5-MeO-DMT in the bark, my dude Moses may have genuinely been visiting the shadow realm. Florida man calls for wild bears to attack group of children. They had it coming. They made fun of my bald head. Florida man flips tables at religious buildings and chases occupants out with whip made from the blinds. This is my favorite one. I like to remind people that ask me WWJD that running around flipping tables and whipping people is within the realm of possibility. Balding Florida man collapses neighbor's house on them. No survivors. Florida man attempts to sacrifice son. Ceremony ends anticlimactically. I was just doing what God told me, went on Abraham as he sharpens his dagger. I didn't want to hurt my son, but when you have 9 of them and God asks you for one, I was like, well, if you say so. I could use the insurance anyway and one less mouth to feed. Later, when interviewing the son in question, he responded, I didn't really think much of it. He climbs that mountain every day and I thought we were playing a game. These times are kinda boring, so being tied down to a rock sounded fun and I had one too many to drink. It wasn't until he pulled out the dagger that I was like, hee nice prank, bro. Then he just stopped and start road talking to the sky. Then he cut the ropes and went back. Greater than, I didn't want to hurt my son. But when you have 9 of them and God asks you for one. He technically only had 2 and this was the son of his real wife, not the concubine, aka the Egyptian princess. Florida woman tells boyfriend that God made her pregnant than 3 men he never heard of come to the birth of his child. 3 exotic foreign men. Noah, he was a drunk, hearing God's voice, the boat, the people, the animals, the actual fucking rain. And he manages to save people with his activities. All of it. Noah, hands down. Well, Florida really is going to be underwater in a few hundred years, so all he'd be doing is jumping the gun a bit. Florida man goes on rampage, whips street vendors outside his father's house. Florida man get raped by his daughters. A sad day for the Florida man but a happy one for the Alabama man. Florida man tries sacrificing his son but stopped when God intervened. Florida man removes rib to create spouse. Florida man bludgeoned brother to death with rock. Florida man claims to have spoken with flaming bush. Florida man says, maybe we should all try to be nice to each other for once, before being executed by Florida government at the behest of special interest groups. Pretty much everything involving Ezekiel. What's your name? Mulleted Florida man kills 1,000 men in jawbone rampage. Not the right time to discuss bone violence, says GOP. We have to something to stop mass bonings. Florida man given designer coat. 11 siblings promptly sell him to human trafficking ring in retribution. Florida man murders brother after family mocks him for veganism. IDK what the headline would be, but a hood and egglan would be a good one. Florida man disembowels Mexican president. Florida man curses at fruit tree for not bearing fruit in winter. Florida man speaks to ass, normally speaks from his ass. Florida man accused of healing the sick, feeding the poor, and teaching about basic human kindness sentenced to death by local government. Florida man follows death row inmate, drops loincloth and runs away naked to avoid getting caught. IDK why I was downvoted, but it's literally in the Bible. Mark chapter 14 verses 51 to 52. Florida man with ability to create food for hungry people instead gets angry at tree and stops it ever creating food for hungry people. Be fair, he might have been a high-level cleric but he hadn't memorized create food and water that day. Instead, he had bestow curse in one of his 3rd-level spell slots. Florida man dies and is buried. Wakes up and crawls out 3 days later.
Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.